But wait,
But we'll
speaking about, so I mentioned Hollywood Brown being hurt. Last thing I want to touch on before we go, speaking of injury, how do you feel about the hip drop tackle? So this morning it was banned unanimously. The competition committee unanimously banned the hip drop tackle. Thankfully, because like this is one of those where it's like, you know what? Take your Michael didn't play the game. Take your it's gonna be flag football. Take your, you know, what's next and what a defender's supposed to do rhetoric and stick it somewhere. The hip drop tackle, it's an awful play. And don't miss me with the, well, what is it? I don't even know what that is. What is the hip drop tackle?
Oh, here we go.
No.
Here we go.
No.
It's
a dangerous play. It is a dangerous play. And how many times do we have to see somebody grab a player from behind and drop his weight on the back of their legs and somebody limp off with a high ankle sprain or worse? I just mentioned Tony Pollard, or worse. What did Troy Benson say? That the injury rate is 20 to 25 times either greater or 25% something, but it's exponentially worse because of this bullshit hip drop tackle. It's new. This is some new shit. This is not an age-old technique. This is not a tackling technique. I get that it's harder and harder for defensive players. I understand that, but the answer is not a play. I beg your pardon, that injures other players. And what's fascinating to me is having the NFLPA like fight this tooth and nail when it's to protect players. Now, okay, I got no comeback for the inconsistency when it comes to protecting players. I got no comeback for short weeks and short turnarounds and certain plays being legal and other ones not. I got no comeback for that. But this one is so egregious to me. This play, it is, and I've been on this in private, even though you and I haven't talked about it. This play sickens me every time I see it. Even though somebody may get up from it, every time I see it, I'm like, that shit just should not be allowed. That should be outlawed. So thank goodness the competition committee has sense enough to unanimously ignore the players and tell them what was best in this case and say, you know what? No, find another way to get the guy on the ground.
Yeah, well said. And I think I agree with you. Everything. Really not much to add to that because it's just you covered everything. I can say from the players' I can say and see from the players' perspective that it feels like a bunch of losses for them. A bunch of losses where every year something is taken away or something is emphasized or enforced and you're like, well, what am I supposed to do? And I think there are some what am I supposed to do cases. For example, when defensive players are called for after a sack and they're called for roughing the passer because after they bring the passer down, their body weight falls. I mean, gravity happens. And so you fall to the ground and you happen to fall on the player who's underneath you and you're supposed to control your body weight. I think that's BS. I think that's going too far. So some of these things need to be taken away and just focus on the dangerous plays, not the plays where, well, the quarterback must be protected because it's just unfair if your weight lands on him. That's stupid. Or sometimes if you hit him on the shoulder, or if it looks like you come up around the face mask.
Or you brush up against him lightly. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's roughing the passer. That is inexcusable. That needs to be taken out of the game, but I'm all for it. If it's a dangerous play, obviously a dangerous play, it should be taken out, and I'm glad it was. Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.